You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Wow, we got to figure it out. Good evening. This is Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I'm Rodney Rogers, partner in crime with Coach East. You can see us live on the internet. If you're watching us from the internet,
live on the internet,
RodneyRogers.com. Click on
RodneyRogers.com.
That's the guy. And we're going to do this for the next hour or 45 minutes, whichever one we can do. This is our enjoying time. This is our getaway.
This is our time.
Our vacation for the week. It's usually on Tuesday nights. We're actually here on Wednesday. Memorial Day backed us up a little bit. Too much knowledge.
But this is our time.
This is our time.
Our
Mike Coy, how you doing, buddy?
Spend a little time outdoors and the indoors.
You have been outdoors big time this weekend.
Yeah.
You were in, where were you?
We went to Islamorada.
Islamorada.
Yeah, recap. Now, just to recap, this is a trip we do every year. This was our 9th year.
Wow.
With clients of ours as a client appreciation time.
Mm-hmm.
We take our clients and to Islamorada to go fishing. I go as my role on the trip is videographer.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. We got two live things
Rodney's
going here.
friends.
Somebody just asked me a question I'm going to answer here in a second.
Rodney's got friends in his pocket.
So go ahead.
So anyways, yes, we went to Islamorada. Gorgeous weather, solid 80 degrees all day long. The humidity is about 75%.
So you've been doing this 9 years, you said. Okay,
Yep.
So you're 9 years into it.
Yeah.
What have you noticed over the 9 years? Has anything changed?
Well, that's what I've noticed, that we have not gotten any better.
You consistently
suck.
Suck at it.
Yes. Matter of fact, as I said, we do a video every year, and I said next year the title of the 10th year anniversary video is going to be "We Suck."
Yeah, right on. Because like you said, you video it every year, and you produce this awesome video, man.
We have a lot of
You know
fun.
what we ought to do one time, if with their permission, is maybe post one of your best out on our website, just so people
or maybe
can watch.
clips or something.
Or
yeah,
clip,
do
yeah, or
highlights,
yeah, like you do quick clips and just a few shots. That'd be pretty cool.
But it's fun. We pull in.
Yeah.
We did flats fishing on the first day. The second day went out and did some deep sea fishing. I guess we went about 21 miles.
Okay.
But mahi, pretty much just slammed the mahi. No slammers. We weren't gaffing too much. But we brought home about 30 fish.
Wow. That's
so,
awesome. Is that no tuna, no?
Not out there. You know what? Did we pull? No. You know what?
To go out to the hump. What's considered?
Yeah, we are around the hump. Are there piranhas in the Atlantic Ocean?
Not really, because they're freshwater.
Then it wasn't a piranha that we pulled in. So never
A
mind.
pompano looks
So
like
never
a
mind.
piranha.
But I pulled, because I actually do some fishing. I put the camera down once in a while. Once I know that I've gotten good footage in the bag,
Right.
I can relax and join the guys. But I pulled in something that was not a mahi. How's that for descriptive?
Okay.
It was not a mahi.
There are a lot of those out there.
It was one of those fish other than the mahi.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it's on video, so I can at some point figure it out.
Yeah.
But anyways, around that fish was all kinds of little swarmy fish.
Swarmy fish. I like those.
I don't think that was the technical term.
Yeah,
but in my mind,
hey, check out the swarmy fish. Watch out, I think we've got some
mind,
swarmy
they
fish.
were
down
swarmy
there.
fish.
Oh, right on, man.
So, bottom line is, had a ball.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man. I envy you. We'll be back there this weekend. We won't be fishing.
Nope.
We'll be diving. I'm going to answer a question. We got two live things going on right now.
I like it.
So here's a question I got from us. Jonathan asked, what are 3 tools you would take out to the forest to survive for 1 week? And that is actually a pretty cool question. If I had to pick 3 tools, obviously I'd take a fishing pole.
You know, the week, putting the time frame on it,
7 days.
gives an interesting twist, because that might change.
It would. Well, you know what?
Answer his question, then we will elaborate.
If we're going to, depending on what forest, obviously if we're in the state of Florida, pretty much every forest has a body of water. in the state of Florida. Somewhere there's a body of water. So I would definitely take a small fishing pole, a Zebco, if I know I'm going. Now, if I'm stranded, it's different. A knife.
I was gonna say a knife. I would go for a knife.
You definitely got to have a knife.
For not only building things.
Yeah.
Your structure.
Exact for you cutting your trees down to build your shelter. Because remember, you got to have a shelter.
Yep.
You know, it's important to have a shelter. So a knife, a fishing pole, and that's pretty much, you know, you got your food and something to build your shelter with, and just a pan of some sort to boil water in the state of Florida. And that's just my 3 things that I've taken on survival trips in the state of Florida. Because I've done week trips with nothing but those 3 items here in Florida. Because you got swamp everywhere.
Well, what else? I mean, I totally agree with the knife. I guess fishing pole is good.
Well, only because I've done it a million times here, and there's always water, and I've always been able to catch fish of some sort. Because if you catch one fish, you can actually use parts of that fish to catch more fish. So you dig up a grub worm under a log or something,
and you'd need the knife to.
And you need the knife to fillet it and to cut it up and cut your limbs down, you know, and that kind of thing. So.
The pan, I'm struggling with the pan.
Well, the pan does a couple things. One, it boils your water so you can have water for the camp.
Yeah.
And it also makes a great
coffee.
Your coffee. It makes a great stew. If you're just putting, because you can use swamp cabbage for your vegetable. Mm-hmm. Use your knife, split open a swamp cabbage, and boil that swamp cabbage with your fish in it, and you got a super swamp cabbage fish stew. So. That's what I've done a million times.
Outside of having a pan, you really don't have a way. Do you have a way of cooking? Is there some sort of creative way you could cook a fish?
Just on a stick. Basically, you just shove the fish on a stick.
Yeah.
And
skewer it.
And skewer it like a shish kebab, and you just cook it over the fire.
I could do that.
Yeah. There's just really no other way to boil your water, though, unless you find a can down in the.
Would you do that versus taking water purifying tablets? Do those things even work?
You know what? I've never tried the water purifying tablets. I have tried the water purifiers where you just pour it in and it comes clean water out the other side. And I've had some of the nastiest water down here. It's just hard to believe that anything like that could come out clean on the other side. So, Moshe, I got Moshe watching us, which is the CEO of Mobley.
Oh, perfect.
He just said hello. What up, Moshe?
What would Moshe take on a camping trip?
Moshe, what would you take on a camping trip?
No, it's not a camping trip. If you're stuck in the outdoors.
If you're stuck in the outdoors. That's our question.
Yeah, you got 3 things.
You're stuck in the outdoors. Now, let's just say we're in a survival situation, period. A knife is something you always want to have. That's why I always carry a pocket knife, because, one, it's certainly one of the most useful tools out there. You can do anything with a knife. Obviously, you can get your shelter, protect yourself, hunt with a knife, tie it to a stick.
Yeah, what about climate? If you're the climate changes, do your 3 items change?
If your climate changes, obviously your 3 items would change. Because remember, in a survival situation, the things that you take depends on environment. Your environment dictate what you would take if you had a choice. Now, if it's something that you're going to carry around with you on an everyday basis, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a survival situation, then that's totally different. A knife is always going to be one, because I always have a knife.
I think a knife would be a consistent one.
Knife would be a consistent one. Something in your vehicle, obviously some type of first aid kit, thermal blanket. That's always a good thing, because if you're up north, it can get cold at night quickly.
Yeah.
Hypothermia sets in. So there again, just basing it on the Florida, being in Florida, because I've done it a million times, a pan, actually a mess kit, which has a pan in it, a fishing pole, and a knife. And pretty much in the state of Florida, you can survive just about anywhere, from North Florida to South Florida, because you're going to find water somewhere. And in every body of water in the state of Florida.
And if you boil it, you're fine.
If you boil it, you're fine. You have purified water. It's not the tastiest water, but it is purified, and you're good to go.
Okay.
And that's what your body needs. So right there, Jonathan, that answers 3 questions, depending on where you're at. Now, if you tell me we're somewhere in the hills of Colorado, I've been up in Colorado, so there again, my things would change.
Yeah, because now in Colorado, you might find a stream you can drink. You can drink right out of those streams.
Absolutely. Because rocks actually purify the water itself. So, it's a little bit different option up there.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's a great question. There again, it depends on your environment. But if it's something you're going to carry on you every single day, you always want a knife. I think everybody should carry a knife, period. Men, women,
And I guess
And children.
those 3 items probably do not change. Do not change based on time. He said a week, 7 days.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now if it's a month or a year, is it the
Exactly.
same 3 things? I
Well,
suppose it probably would be.
obviously, if it's a month or a year, if it's longer than that environment, then obviously that would change. I got another question. This is actually pretty cool. The questions are piling in. Got 2 live things going. Obviously,
Okay.
we got our live. And what's the farthest place from Florida
Did you say farthest?
Farthest. My mouth was moving a little fast. The farthest place I've ever fished from Florida would be Colorado. I have trout fished in Colorado for rainbow trout, brook trout in North Carolina, so I have fished for those. So that would be the farthest place. You hear something? You hear a hum? What do you hear? Your hearing's better than mine. I just don't hear it. You got something going.
You keep talking to your friends.
Okay.
Sorry.
Cool.
Yes.
Oh, it's that. Deep. Is that what it's doing?
No, it's
Vibrating?
It's my lessons on how to speak Thai.
Nice.
How she got started talking.
Oh, that's what it is.
I'm learning Thai, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Actually, not during the radio show here, so I apologize. But
Let's see. So, Jonathan, Colorado is the farthest place I've ever fished. Actually, I would love to fish all over the world. I mean, honestly, that's kind of why we're doing this thing, is to enjoy the outdoors all over the world.
rainbow trout.
Rainbow trout, Colorado is about the farthest I've ever fished.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. Ice cold. Rainbow trout love the cold water.
Just waiting for the invite, and then we'll catch a plane and go anywhere,
I
right?
say we do it, man. You just don't know. You don't know. I'd love to do it. They say the job you love is the job you.
You got somebody live on there asking? Who asked that?
I've got several. I got Jonathan.
Where's Jonathan from?
Now here's Jonathan. Jonathan, where you from? Post where you from. I have Lee on here that says, Rodney, have you ever been face to face with a white shark? No, I have not, but that is certainly one of my goals, because now we're starting to see a lot more.
It's a very odd goal, Rodney. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Isn't that crazy? Everybody says, well, it's like when we were offshore. Jonathan's from California. We were offshore fishing week before last, and we see this 10-foot bull shark eating a barracuda. It's just tearing it up. So I immediately grabbed the mask, and I think I told this story last week, and I want to get in and swim up to this shark while he's eating that fish and film it. And I would love to do that with a great white. We're starting to see a lot more great white sharks in the state of Florida.
I downloaded an app this weekend because Captain Steve down in Alamorada said, I guess there's a shark named Kenny. Is it? No.
You've got Kathleen. You got
Kathleen.
Yes.
And she was down in Alamorada here not too long ago. So he said there's an app. So I downloaded this app, and it's pretty amazing because they obviously tag these things.
You get the tracker.
And you can track these things when they're spotted.
How awesome is that? I got the same app.
It's pretty wild because, times are changing, my friend.
And if you click on that app, you can see all the sharks they've tagged.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like 50 sharks.
Yep.
Great white sharks.
That thing started up the northeast all the way down. It was right outside, Titusville here and Sebastian on down to Islamorada. That's pretty
Isn't that
amazing.
Awesome?
Yeah.
And it's something we didn't know. We just assumed it's a cold water fish.
Well, I remember when they first started talking about white sharks been spotted off the coast of Florida. We're like, really?
Yeah.
But now, with these tracker, yeah, really. You can see these things moving, and that's just
absolutely, yeah. It's amazing. And I'm telling you, if I see one, I'm jumping in. We keep a mask on board.
Well,
just for
I promise you this: if you see one, I'm rolling film.
That's what I tell everyone. That was my buddy when he goes, man, I don't think you should get in with that shark. Hey, get him the mask real quick. Hand me my camera. I swear to God, that's exactly what he said. So I'm like, okay, well, there you have it. So if you're listening to us, Jonathan, you can also call the show at 262-345-7763.
Operator standing by.
Operator standing by. Take your order. So on your, to bounce off your trip off the Islamorada this weekend, we'll actually be there this coming weekend again. So you get the double whammy this month.
Double whammy. Different type of whammy.
Totally different type of whammy. We're actually getting diver certified there this weekend.
Yes, we are. Our open water diver certification.
I'm totally excited about that because that's going to open a whole new level for us here on Rodney Rogers Outdoors. We're going to be doing a lot of that. I can see that coming.
Well, you know what I'm excited about? Obviously the open water diving in the ocean, that's one thing. But I'm also excited about bringing that the skills back here to Orlando and going under on some of these lakes that we've just been doing bass fishing on.
Absolutely.
There's all kinds of other trouble we can find ourselves in.
I can see most of our diving hitting these lakes around here.
Oh,
because one of the cool things we're going to see in these lakes, and it's going to get kind of spooky, are alligators.
Yeah.
We're going to see some pretty big alligators. I've done it snorkeling. I've swam over them, around them, through them, by them.
Now, here's what I'm guessing, because I've done a bit of diving in the past.
Right.
And, with sharks and stuff like that when you're
Absolutely.
in the water. Because they're like any other fish. It's not they'll swim around and look at you and inspect you and move on.
Exactly.
Because you're in an environment, you're not just dangling your toes in the water, you're not flailing on top of it. You're in the water in their environment moving
Right.
around. So they're curious about you, but you don't have fish all over just attacking you left and right.
No.
So I'm wondering if alligators respond
To the same.
similarly.
Absolutely. Because remember, alligators respond to their prey on size.
Mm-hmm.
A 6-foot alligator doesn't very often bite, a 6-foot human. It's
Right.
just not in their food chain. They will bite for curiosity, just come up and snap a hold of it, see what they can do, and they often let go, kind of like a shark,
Mm-hmm.
more of an exploratory bite. Now, if a 12-footer does an exploratory bite,
Yeah, you got issues.
it's a whole nother situation. But it just doesn't happen very often. And then when you're flailing on, like you said, on top of the water, it triggers their instinct to attack.
Sure.
Doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I've cut alligators open and found sticks in their stomach, rubber flip-flops, shoes, and that's just from stuff hitting the top of the water and making some kind of splash, and they'll just bite it and eat it. They just
Wounded animal, or they assume maybe it's something injured.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm reading the next question. Jonathan, you can find us on RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. You can actually see it right there at the bottom. Check us out, man. We'd love to have you and on Facebook as well.
Yeah,
appreciate the question.
And take Rodney up on his offer and call in anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to have you.
So
tell us your fishing spots and how far you fished.
Oh yeah, especially in California. That's California's one of. Check this out. In California, not to jump the shark that I often do. They're large.
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you?
I'd jump a shark.
You'd love that, wouldn't you?
I would totally love that. But, man, we've got so many things to talk about on the subject of sharks.
California.
Except let's stick to California at the moment. Their strain of largemouth bass was actually brought from Florida and shipped to California and raised there. Japan, their strain of largemouth bass is actually shipped from the Florida strain of largemouth bass. A lot of people don't know that.
Surviving fine, I'm guessing.
Doing great. Absolutely surviving fine, because the largemouth bass in the state of Florida is actually one of the largest. They fare in very well in Japan and California, so the perfect environment.
Cool.
So yeah, just you're catching our fish over there.
Speaking of California.
So, New Smyrna Beach this weekend. Did you see the video of the guy that they were on paddle boards and he had a camera and he wanted to film his wife from the underneath and ended up filming 12 big old sharks up under his paddle board?
No, seriously?
Yeah, so he's got a video of them, like 8 people just glued to their top of their board, afraid to dangle their feet because now they noticed these big shadows in the water, and he put his camera under it, and voila, there's about 12 8-foot sharks right up under it, and they didn't freak out. They actually thought it was really cool, as I would. I mean, that's how awesome is that? And they filmed these things just cruising the bottom, just not aggressive in any way. I mean, 12 sharks could have easily caused a ruckus and knocked them off their boards and did away with them. So that just goes to prove sharks are not aggressive.
Yeah, it's not the movies.
Yeah, this isn't Jaws.
They're just looking for food.
Don't know. So I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, that'd be a lot of fun, and that's why we're getting diver certified right there.
So you can jump the shark.
Jump the shark.
Stay tuned for our last episode where Rodney jumps the shark.
For the last time. So there again, we're getting diver certified. I finished my first part of the class, and I learned a lot that I really didn't understand was in diving. I mean, when you see someone go underwater, you just think, wow, that's cool, they're underwater.
Mm-hmm.
I've been underwater 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things to happen. I mean, there's things that your body does that you had no idea.
Mm.
I mean, I've swam 20 feet down,
Mm-hmm.
and done a free dive of
Yep.
20 feet and just shot back up to the surface without even thinking about it.
Right.
But there's repercussions for that. I mean, there's things could have happened,
Yeah, and you're also holding your breath, so you're going down with the same area you're coming up in.
Exactly. So, it's a little, so it's kind of I learned quite a bit this week.
Yeah.
You know, as far as diving goes. Have you learned anything, Michael? Not really.
Yeah, no, I've relearned a lot of things. You know,
I was
mean,
gonna say, now you got certified diving
we
when?
used to do quite a bit of diving, but it's been 10 years,
Okay.
and that's starting over time. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cobwebs in there. So I mean, some of the stuff came back in the basics. Like I say, we could have just done a recertification,
Right.
a refresher course,
Right.
which would have been less money and quicker. But I don't really want to operate that way. I'd rather just start from the beginning.
A lot safer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is definitely nothing to play with.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not.
this is something that can go really wrong really fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the more comfortable you become with it by really knowing what you're doing, then you can relax.
Absolutely.
But if there's apprehension and certain things that you just haven't nailed down or haven't wrapped your head around, it just creates, internal tension, and you're not going to enjoy the whole process as much. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see where the you know what I was actually thinking now, being on the surface and getting into some kind of trouble, via whatever happens, and being 60 to 70 feet down underwater, it's a whole nother world. I mean, you can't just rush.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a matter of calling 911 and having the ambulance pull up 8 minutes later.
Yeah.
First of all, you're in the ocean.
Yeah. And you can't. I mean, you can. You're not supposed to just dart to the surface because that could be incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Like life-threatening, dangerous. But even that time, there's a time frame to get 60 feet underwater.
Absolutely.
I mean, we had an issue when we were training before where we were probably, I guess it was probably 20, 25 feet. But if you take that last breath of air and you're out, that 25 feet
is
100 feet. Long way.
Right. Now, did you guys run out of air, or did you just take was you practicing?
No, we were practicing. It was a controlled environment where you're turning off the air. I mean, you're simulating air, running out of air. And my wife panicked a little bit, and she darted for the surface, So, which you're not supposed to do, but that's why we weren't 60 feet down. I think we were 20 feet or something.
Yeah. But, I can see where that'd be
But you get that desperation feeling in your brain of going, I'm out of air and I'm not to the surface yet,
Yeah.
Those split seconds feel, like you say, it'll feel like
so
a
they
long
turn
time.
your tank off and then you start your ascent, or you're just down there?
No, what you're supposed to do is turn your tank off, buddy breathe.
Oh, buddy breathe. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
And then so again, not panicking.
Yeah.
You have options down there.
Right. And that's what they're trying to get you to understand.
Relax, think what you're supposed to do. You're not in an emergency situation yet. You just follow procedures.
Right. That's important.
And she panicked and darted for when she felt that air cut off.
Yeah.
That panic took over.
Yeah.
And she, again, that's where you could really find yourself in deep.
Well, the one thing they tell you is not to hold your breath.
You definitely can't.
In that point, you just release it slowly, which allows you, which I could see would relax you because you are breathing, you're staying calm, and you're looking for that, that mouthpiece.
Yep.
For your buddy, and then worst case scenario, you're using the same respirator.
Right.
You can until you find
exactly
what you're looking for. If I snatch that out of your mouth, you know what I'm going for.
Well, I think when we did it, I don't think we had the secondary.
Okay.
Regulator.
So you're actually buddy breathing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
That's how we learned to do it. I don't think the outfits we had two of them on because I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's right there. That's cool.
So anyways, what else is going on here, Rodney?
So that's, obviously we're talking about, and then we have, I wanted to just give an update on our alligator situation while we're here. Let me flip over. Oh, I didn't even pull that up. So I started preparing for alligator season. Pulling out of our gear out of the closet, getting our arrows and spears and all of our good stuff together. And Life Vest this year, we're going to be going to the suspenders this year.
What do you mean?
You've seen the SOS suspenders? They're basically just suspenders, and if you fall in the water, they blow up.
Really?
Yeah, and you have a life vest. We're going to be going to that this year because they're non-restrictive.
Okay.
You can just put them on, and they're not bulky. Normally, we wear the actual vest because we hunt out of canoes.
Sure.
So we throw the vest on. It's a little bit bulky. It's not so hard to work around with. It's kind of nice because it's got pockets on it. We can put stuff in it. Well, this year we're going to go to the suspenders.
Interesting.
Yeah, and hunt with the suspenders on. It's a little less. I think overall it's going to be
What triggers them?
the once you hit the water, I guess it dissolves the release tab or whatever it does, so don't fall out.
It's not
Or
like
I'm going to get the person. I'm going to get the instant release for the person doing the hunting. I'm going to get the pull release from me.
okay.
Because if I
Sure.
fall in, I'm not going to panic.
Yeah.
But you don't know who's in the front of that boat. When they fall in at night with a gator around,
Yeah.
they have a tendency to panic.
Yeah. I would
So-
think I would panic.
There again, as with diving, establish buoyancy once they hit the water because they're fully dressed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times you're in the grass or the hydrilla, so things can go really wrong really fast.
Wow.
So we want to be sure. So I'm basically pulling out the gear, pulling out our bang stick, our spears, our arrows, oiling everything up, getting everything in order, getting ready for
Get your ammo for the bang stick.
ammo for the bang stick. You know what's funny is I'm shooting the same box of shells I've had for 6 years.
I was going to ask you how many you take with you when you
Yeah,
go.
what I do is when I go, I put a bullet in everybody's pocket that's there.
Yep.
Because
I remember
you
that.
remember that.
I do.
I mean, you want everybody.
exactly
You don't
how
want to
you
have to just fumble around for
Yeah.
a bullet, and you don't want a pocket full of bullets. So if you give everybody a bullet, and you bang it, and you go, hey, give me a bullet, then someone will be ready with a bullet. So it's kind of standard operating procedure, and someone always is. And then obviously I carry the bullets with me in a separate compartment in case we run out. Hopefully,
Yep.
we never run out. But it's just a one-shot deal. It's not like you shoot and miss because you're right up against the animal. Once you bang it with that bang stick, poof, it's over.
Got that, and you got your spear, or you're doing
Well,
arrow this year.
I take the spear every year.
That's good old standby.
That's the good old standby. It's very effective.
Yep.
We work well with it, so I can switch that spear into where the arrow harness is instantly.
Okay.
I can just unhook the arrow, clip
Sure.
it right to the spear, and then we're good to go. So if something happens, someone drops their bow or their bowstring breaks, you try to prepare for all reasonable mistakes that people make, and then we go from there. So
when is the first hunt? How
the
long do I
first
have to
hunt
wait?
is August 15th.
Okay, so June, July, we've got two and a half months.
So yeah,
June,
2.5
July.
months away, and we got plenty. Like I said, we got plenty of time to prepare.
Have all kinds of other adventures before we get there.
Absolutely.
But you got to start preparing.
Absolutely. So getting the canoes ready and getting everything set up for that. This 2.5 months will go by quick.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like if you don't start now when you're thinking about it, by the time you get there, you're trying to dig up equipment, and the last thing you want to go out there for an alligator is half cocked. It's
Now, for those who don't know it, we've if you go on, you can subscribe to our this audio of this program on iTunes.
right.
And then you can also go on Rodney Rogers Outdoors and see all the episodes of the different. Now you can't see the video on there, but you can go on the YouTube channel and see all of our.
Oh yeah,
all of
you
our
can go.
videos.
Yeah.
My point being, in the last 3 episodes, we've done 2 episodes about the gator hunting. We started off filling out our applications, and then we talked about some of the basics of catching the gator. This time we were going to pick up from there and go on, but we'll save that for next week.
Once we catch it, yeah.
Yeah, but I want to let people know they can go back and kind of catch episodes 1 and 2 of us talking about gator hunting and through the season. But my question was this: is there another deadline coming up, or where are we at in that process of?
Right now, the second deadline of filling out another set of tags. So what happened is the first wave of tags were drawn, selected, and paid for. So at that point, whoever didn't pay for their tags, like you, and then
Dadgummit!
Dadgummit, and then the next wave, the drawing was a lot shorter. So it was only 6 days.
Right.
So you were able to look online and see what was available and apply for that, and then it went into another drawing. And then that pay-for deadline was it's this coming Monday.
Okay.
So, if you haven't paid for by then whatever's not paid for out of that batch now goes to a third drawing. and then it's first come, first serve.
Okay.
So on that third drawing, I can take a look at what's available. They'll give you 2 days to look at what's available, and then I can go to the courthouse and be first come, first serve. So I then can go buy tags directly.
Which courthouse?
Any courthouse or any tag office or any state tax collector.
So they give you 2 days to look at it online.
They give you 2 days to look at it online, and then you can see what's available.
And then at
It
8
opens,
a.m. on whatever day.
and on the following day at 8 a.m. or it's usually around 10 a.m. when all the offices open, then you can go in there and get first come, first serve, which allows,
Is there a line?
believe it or not, they're waiting out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on which tag office you go to.
Yeah.
If you're downtown Orlando, you're probably okay, believe it or not. If you're Osceola County, I've always had a line.
They're all tied into the same database, so it's
Absolutely.
like buying concert tickets.
Absolutely. Exactly. Like buying concert tickets. It's first come, first serve, and they go pretty quick, and you have 5 choices, just like you did before. And then they just start running down. They start typing, and then pow. Whatever you have available, pow. You got it. You want it. You pay for it right there on the spot, and you're good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a different lake that we're not hunting on, just to see what's available out there in the 4 or 5 lakes that I know have a lot of alligators. And if there's something open, then I'm going to go try to get the first come, first serve on a different lake. So we'll see how that goes.
This kind of sounds exciting in general.
It's actually pretty cool. Because they did the first come, first serve for years. So for years I was just at the tag office, and I went in. I was like, I got there an hour before they even opened, and then the line formed behind me normally. And then, and I was usually first in, get my tag, get what I wanted, and I was out of there.
Wow.
So, and that's how they did it for years. And then they went to they started out with the random draw, then they went to the first come, first serve, and then they went back to the random draw. So, we'll see how that goes. So, alligators, we're allowed 6 this year so far. If I can get into that last
because
draw,
we've got 3, we've won 3. I don't know.
yeah, we won.
People.
Yeah,
We're allowed 6 because we have 3 different
hunters.
Hunters.
Exactly. So, obviously you can, if you're interested in an alligator hunt, definitely look us up. RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. Just click on the info tab, fill out your info, shoot it to me, and I'll get your info right away, and then I'll respond of what our rates are for alligator season. So if you want to kill an alligator, hey, I think we can hook you up. I fill my tags every year. It's not a matter of if you get a shot, it's just a matter of if you take the shot, so that's how that works. So I'm excited this year. I think we're going to do really good because we got the first, the second, and the 4th season. 4th phase.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can we talk about it next time?
Absolutely.
Go into depth?
Yes.
Because I like that we were stepping through, and I think we talked about hunting, ways of catching your gator, securing it, getting it to the boat.
Yeah.
I think we kind of stopped
We
there.
kind of stopped right at securing and getting it to the boat, and then we'll start with phase.
Yeah.
Remind me of that next week.
I will.
I will put it on. I'll actually put it right here in the notes, and then we'll start right off with that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, because I've been kind of jumping all over the board with this.
I know we've got time for it. I just want to keep people on, like I say, but now is the time to be. If
Absolutely.
you're interested in gator hunting and getting your license or your tags,
Right.
now is the time.
Now's the time.
So I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
That's why I make it.
And then if you're just interested in gator hunting, period. I mean, there's tons. This is the time of the year where now's the time to book your hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily with us, but there's a lot of reputable companies out there, and I can tell you this: they're expensive. They are very expensive. Then they charge by the foot. Then anything over this foot is an extra $500 to $1,000, and it could be a $4,000 or $5,000 hunt.
It's not exactly cheap just getting your tags.
Yeah.
And especially if you're an out-of-state resident.
Yeah, if you're an out-of-state resident, it's $1,000.
Yeah. That's just to get your tags, and you're on your own.
Yeah, and actually a resident of the United States, it's $300. So it's not. I mean, it's not even really cheap for us.
Resident of the United States.
I'm sorry. Resident of Florida.
There you go.
So it's pretty expensive no matter what. So if you cover the price of the tags in your hunts, then you're okay.
Yep.
But we have fun every year. So there you have it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
So jumping the shark again while we're all over the board.
Let's do it.
Let's talk a little bit of offshore fishing.
Love it.
You got to do a little bit, obviously, this weekend.
I did.
What was your main? What was your main? Were you guys trolling the whole time, or?
Yeah, typically we were trolling.
And you were trolling for mahi or basically whatever would knock it down.
We were dragging ballyhoo from the outriggers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically what we're doing, and I've said it a million times, and this week, not this weekend, we'll be diving this week.
Yes.
Our weekend is full. So you and I have got to do a podcast. I've got a couple people just hounding me on how to rig ballyhoo.
I know. I'll say we've got a list of things that we've had people asking us to throw together.
And I've got a bunch of tackle together on how to rig these teaser lines. I've got all the terminal tackle put together so we can actually do a video on hooking up a simple, teaser rig, for the ballyhoo. So what we'll do is we'll just basically do a 6-minute video on the whole spiel.
That'd be great.
And then just a 2-minute video on how to rig that ballyhoo. Ballyhoo rigs are expensive, to buy them in the stores, and that's this one particular guy on our website is just saying, please, man, show me a better way.
Cool.
Because he can save, about $50 a trip on not buying those pre-rigged ballyhoos.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not always as successful as the simple way that we hook them up. So I'm just trying to get us a few classes together on that.
Yeah, it was interesting. When it's pretty amazing because once you get one on the line, you're trolling, you get one on the line, it's like game on. I mean, everything changes.
Oh,
The boat powers down. You're
staring at it.
Everything changes. But what's really interesting is because we had the captain, the first mate, and then there was 6 of us that go on this trip as fishermen. Well, 5 and then a videographer, more or less. But anyways, when they start biting, and you've got potentially usually a minimum of 4 guys standing there with poles in their hands, and you start this whole, it almost, if you could diagram it out, it would look like a football play.
Right, exactly.
Over and under, and keeping lines untangled, and it gets pretty wild. It's just pretty.
Now, did they have it set up that green lines were in the back, yellow lines in the center, and?
Nope.
They just.
I've never even heard that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have our reels set up with different color fishing lines. So we put our green lines right off the back of the boat, and then we have yellow line on a couple of our big reels. They're what we call our long haulers.
Okay.
And then we have red line that shoots right in the center of those. So we have 6 rods, and there's 2 each. There's 2 green, 2 yellow, and 2 red. So we know if a line goes down, we know immediately.
Okay.
If it's on the port side, we know it's the long haul. If it's a yellow, and vice versa. It just helps us establish which one has gone off and where to start our reel up. Obviously someone will grab the one with the fish on it, set the hook, get it started and hand it off to whoever, and then the rest of us start clearing lines. So, I didn't know if, that's what I'm saying. Everybody has a different system.
Yeah.
Every captain will have his way of doing things, and they're usually pretty locked on how they do it because it's been successful for them.
Mm-hmm.
Not really willing to learn any tricks, but there's a lot of people. A lot of people out there with new boats right now, especially coming into the summer, that want to troll, and who've never done this before, and who are excited to get into it and want to know the most simplest, successful way that they can do this.
And I think the number one key is the birds.
Is the birds, exactly right.
You're looking for birds. You're looking
for
birds and debris.
Birds and debris.
That's the 2 things.
You know what I always said, that trash in the ocean, while it's totally disgusting, fish love it.
Yeah, it's so funny because every year that our first mate, our captain, basically says the same thing. We're looking for anything: coconuts, logs, flip-flops. Sure enough, we're out there 22 miles, and here goes a flip-flop, and you're like, you got to be kidding me.
Was there any fish on the flip-flop?
There was fish everywhere this trip, but so you're looking for the birds that are eating the bait fish, I guess.
Yep.
Where the bait fish are, that's where the big fish are probably feeding.
Well, the birds do a couple things. One is obviously they're indicators. So what happens is when the bait fish start balling up, these big fish start just attacking, and a lot of the bait fish that are not died completely will float to the surface. The birds will start attacking, the fish. So it just causes this frenzy. So when you start seeing these birds attacking the water, most likely there's something already there.
Right.
And they're already tearing up the surface, and they're ready to hit anything that comes by. And that's a great chance. Did you guys see birds this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we call it bebopping. Looking for the bebopping where they're hitting the water.
Right. Did you catch anything off of them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that was a prime example.
It's almost consistent. It's almost like, it's textbook.
It's really just textbook operation.
Yep.
Birds, you're going to catch something out of there. And I'm surprised a lot of times, the tuna are big at that. Obviously mahi, but tuna, when you see a lot of birds, I would say 8 out of 10 times you're going to pull a lot of tuna off of that. Those tuna just dart,
gotcha.
It's just it's a very streamlined. They're little footballs shooting through the water, none but pure muscle. So tuna are really big on birds. I know we're doing a trip coming up, and of course, hopefully we get to do it together. My buddy had bought the 40-footer. We're going to what's called the other side, which is the other side of the Gulf Stream, past the Bahamas. It's about 60 miles on the other side of the Bahamas.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's called the other side.
Good title.
But when your radar you actually use the radar and you pick the birds up. This radar will find a flock of birds and you shoot to that flock of birds. And the fish out there are huge. I mean, when you catch a little 4-pound, 6-pound tuna here, you'll catch a 60, 80-pound tuna out there.
Wow.
So, and you do this 4 or 5 times, and you're pretty much done for the day. It's,
wow.
And then, the mahi are 70, 80 pounds versus out here they're 8, 10 pounds.
Yeah.
12 pounds is a big one. So you just get a lot bigger fish. There's just not a lot of people fishing out there. So it's an unspoiled environment, and man, I hope we get to go. We'll definitely go this summer, I know.
Cool.
So hopefully that'll be a trip. We get the log in the log books. So that's, part of our fishing thing.
Good.
Whew. I almost talked myself into passing out right there. So we got a little time left. I'm going to talk about our fishing lures a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, we're already all over the board on this one.
Let's jump around. This is our pinball machine episode. I've
obviously got some fishing lures out there that we kind of designed color and stuff. It's some of my favorite lures, and I bought 10 million of these things.
What are they called? The Rodney Rogers.
What do we call them? We call it the grub or something. It's a grub worm, and I've given a bunch of these out, and pictures are starting to come in, and I'm gonna start moving them. They're coming in messaging. They're messaging me the picture, so I'm gonna start moving them over to our Facebook.
Cool.
And hopefully drop a few on the website that they're starting to catch fish. So now they're going through. It's like crack. I kind of gave them just enough to start catching fish, and if you like them, let's post it, and then I'll start selling them. So we're actually starting to get orders.
Cool.
For these.
Because they're successful with them.
Absolutely, and I'm definitely a firm believer in these things. So I'm going to move some of those pictures to our Facebook.
Fun.
You start seeing. I mean, one of the guys on our Facebook, Mike, he said, "Hey man," he sent me a picture. "Hey man, just casting a few for lunch," and he caught 2 bass and 10 casts. And it's a matter of being successful. It's not necessarily. I mean, big fish will come.
Sure.
But the key is that you're successful in what you're doing. You're taking a brand new lure that you never used before and trying a different technique, and you're being successful in fishing. And I will tell you this, we've used these offshore. These things are great for mahi. I've got some real bright chartreuse ones. That's just trout, and
wow.
They just love them. So, shoo, they're awesome lures.
Very cool.
And I've got 10 million of them. Did I mention that?
Yes.
So message me or, hit us on RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. You just hit the info button, and I'll shoot you some info on how to get these things.
Okay.
Because they're starting to take off now.
Maybe people can suggest titles, names for them.
That is a great.
Have a competition come up with an
As a matter of fact,
official name for your grub.
I'll post a picture of it and say, what would you call it? So hey, man, I like that.
Hey,
And the winner gets what? A day with you
Nope.
at the flea market?
Nope.
Y'all get to go to the flea market together.
My wife will entertain them for a day. That doesn't sound right, but I mean.
She's going to see a shoe come through the office door. Whop.
Kim, what are you doing Thursday? Nothing, I hope.
I have this weird guy coming over. We'll just take him to do something.
So yeah, post something. That'd be fun.
So I'll post it. That is a great idea. Let's figure a name for these things.
Start there.
Yeah.
This week, tomorrow. Do that tomorrow. Post a picture.
Yeah, I'll post a picture of it, and I've got a ton of them. So I'll a ton of pictures of the actual grub. So I'll post it tonight. We'll start it like ASAP. In the winter, I'll give you, 80 grubs or 50 grubs or something. I'll give you a handful of grubs that you just can't deny,
Okay.
turn down.
That'd be fun.
An offer you can't refuse.
Yes.
How's that sound?
That'd be great.
So we'll get a cool name for it in the time. And meanwhile, I'm still working on the packaging and the shipping logistics. They're pretty expensive to ship, actually.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I hope you don't mind Ziploc bags.
That's pretty much how I'm doing it, Mike. I'm just writing the color, the quantity, and saying thank you right on the bag, and I'm shipping it out.
There you go.
And you're getting it in an envelope. I just lick it. And it's on its way. So I'm shipping them out so quick, there's still slobber on the envelope, you know.
Funny.
The last one I had to ask the postmaster, hey, you tape that up for me? I don't think I slobbered on it enough.
Slobbered too much. I just kept licked all the adhesive off.
I had like 5 envelopes there going, you know. So
It'll be fun. So yeah, keep your ears tuned for next week. We'll talk about our exciting weekend. At least for us, it's
yeah, it's
definitely
definitely
fun,
exciting. I'm excited. I mean, my son, I don't get to spend a lot of time with my son, so he's
so
going
glad
with us.
Zach's coming. Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Yeah. So the minute he heard, I was getting diver certified, he's like, Dad, oh man, that's awesome. Can I go? And I'm like, absolutely. By all means. So we'll, and honestly, I'm gonna live this thing up on the live app on mobile.
Heck yeah.
Heck
yeah.
Well, as much as we can anyway. Yep. I'm sure they got Wi-Fi down there. Because there's probably no signal otherwise. Did you have good signal down there?
We actually did. Even offshore, we had pretty good signal.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you're not that far offshore. Yeah. You're only making short runs.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get to do a lot of live stuff down there.
Good.
I'll shoot it live off mobile and.
Yeah, so keep your ears peeled for stuff going on and Rodney doing shout-outs and think of a name for a grub.
That's gonna be That's gonna be a cool contest. Name for the grub. I can't think of anything right offhand.
Well, here we go. Let's not linger, Rodney. Get us out of here, man.
All righty, man. As my mother always said, and I've said a million times, you kids get outside and stay.